where Shrewsbury, you might see a car running by with the Confederate flag on a regular basis. So, go ahead, Captain, I'm sorry.
I taught a class at Mount Holyoke one spring, and a group of students from various parts of the country who were Mount Holyoke students. And our discussion got onto this, the Civil War. When one of the students said the Civil War was not about slavery. The Civil War was about states' rights.
Right. The state right to the slave.
So I asked the student, the states' rights to do what?
Right.
And then it dawned on her that in fact the Civil War was about slavery. So when you're talking about this narrative and the repackaging of it and the rejustifications for things and the disremembering or the unremembering, that is a contemporary, an additional contemporary case where a student in the United States is taught to believe or to disavow or disown or just unremember the history of this country and feel that it's a legitimate knowledge that the student possesses.
My brother right here wants to add on to
My
that.
question with this whole flag thing, and I'm really tired of all of this non-history, because we were never taught history. You know, you gave us up your age. I'm close to you, and I'm really tired of it. I was doing some research on stars and bars. That was the rebel flag. That was the war flag. That wasn't the flag of the Confederacy. And my question is, why at this particular time do we have a beef with the stars and bars for as long as they've been around? That's the question I think needs to be answered. The other thing that's very interesting is, who gives a damn about the stars and bars when the stars and stripes, you can call them stars and stripes, they're stars and bars too, depending on how you define it. Why isn't anybody talking about that? And so the other question is, where were the stars and bars before the Morrill Act came down, which was a tariff that was put on the South, which increased their tax from like 26% to 46%, took people into bankruptcy. No, it was, and the other thing too, there was only 6% of the people in the South who owned Africans, kidnapped Africans. The other 93% were just regular folks. So ask me, what were they fighting for? The whole thing was a setup, but you had to know the history of the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and have to know how this whole thing went down. I wanted to address your question about the police. I read an article yesterday that said they're hiring a whole lot of Blackwater folks, mercenaries, on the police force. The other thing is, right after 9/11, most people don't know, the IDF, police chiefs were going to Israel, IDF were training the police force. So what they said is, look here, y'all, we're going to show you how we deal with the Palestinians, this is how you deal with them folks back home. These Blackwater, they're the same people that after Katrina, they went into the houses of the people who are classified as black and said, time for y'all to get on out of here. That was a real estate deal. That was a real estate deal. So one of the things I think is very important, and then someone asked a question about education. Education is the schools are set up to maintain the present arrangement of power, which is white supremacy. So forget the school thing. It ain't happening. There's 3 of us in this room right now that will run out the schools and brand us out, because if you begin to talk about something that's not in the script, which is the textbook, you get one warning and you're out of there. I was doing substitute teaching in a school, which I won't name the school system, it was Amherst Regional. The gentleman who was calling the substitute teachers, he said, he saw me one day, this is how the creator works. The creator will cause the truth come out of people's mouths. I said, come here, man, I need to talk with you. I said, what's going on? He said, don't tell anybody this. I said, I'm cool. He said, but the principal told me not to call you anymore for subbing. I said, cool, I got it. But I already knew why. Because some of the students had said I was the best teacher they had, just for a day. Just for a day. So I'm saying, well, damn, if I did that just for a day, I guess there ain't too much teaching going on in these schools. But you can't, because the teachers have to pay their car note, they have to pay their mortgage. And if you start telling the truth, you're going to get one warning on Monday, you keep running your mouth, and you're out of there on Friday. But I've been running my mouth, and I keep running my mouth. I coach track and field now, so I'm out on the field. But I still have my little classroom. I still have my little classroom. So I think